I'm Trudy Morgan Cole, and this is a new vlog series I'm starting called Searching Sabbaths, mostly because I already have one called Writing Wednesdays. This is not as catchy a title, but I am going to be uploading them every Saturday. For me as a Seventh-day Adventist, Saturday is the Sabbath, and searching because I guess it's all about faith and belief and spirituality, and I always feel like I'm more of a seeker than a finder, and I always have more questions than answers. As I said in introducing this series on my blog, this was kind of semi-inspired by the fact that my daughter just got baptized into the Seventh-day Adventist Church, which means that she's choosing to shape her life of faith, as I've done, around the fundamental beliefs of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, which, in case you're interested, are well explained in this book, Seventh-day Adventists Believe 27 Fundamental Doctrines, except that this book is already out of date because they added another one a few years ago, and now there are 28 fundamental doctrines and a new edition of the book. You know, I have such mixed feelings about my church and my relationship with it. I mean, I am so glad to be raising my children in this church and proud that they're choosing to be a part of it for themselves, but at the same time I feel terrible about my independent, strong-minded young daughter being baptized into a church that still doesn't ordain women as ministers or give them equal opportunities for leadership with men. I think that's terrible. And I find myself asking questions like, how did a group of people who originally didn't even want to organize as a church and didn't want to subscribe to any creed or statement of belief somehow end up with 27 plus 1, now 28 fundamental beliefs? It seems like a bit much sometimes. Now for me, I was raised in what I guess you'd have to call a fairly liberal Adventist home, and as I've grown through the years, my views have only gotten more liberal and more progressive. And yet within the past few years, my church at every level, local, national, international, has become, you know, it's moved in a different direction. It's become more and more conservative. And so I find myself more and more conflicted about where I fit into it. And yet at the same time, even though my relationship with the church is always characterized by doubt and question and struggle, I've always been very heavily, actively involved, both in my church in the larger scale, in my denomination, and also in the local church. Right now I'm working towards getting my Master Guide certification, which is the highest level of lay youth leadership that exists within the Adventist Church. And it was in the process of preparing the coursework for that that I came across this requirement to write a series of short papers or do a series of oral presentations on our church's fundamental beliefs. And of course, me being me, I decided to turn that into a blog and vlog series exploring not just the fundamental beliefs, but some of my questions about them. So yes, all of these questions that I have are going to come up over the next several weeks and months as I explore the fundamental beliefs and anything else that kind of pops into my head as being exploration worthy. I'm going to start next week with Adventist belief number 1, which is titled The Holy Scriptures. And I'm going to be talking not just about what Adventists as a church believe about the Bible, but what I believe about the Bible, some of the ways it's important to me, and some of the ways that I struggle with it. So if any of this stuff is interesting to you too, then please feel free to join me again for another Searching Sabbath next week.